I got to see it, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed with Marvel's Fantastic Four. This is going to be a kind of hybrid review talking about how well this movie might have landed and how important it is to the future of the MCU. This feels like a fresh start. Well, honestly guys, I got to see the new Fantastic Four on Thursday night, and I'm going to say I was a bit surprised. This kind of comic is not easy to bring to life, and the Fantastic Four have a certain amount of nuance I feared was going to be really hard to capture on screen. Tim Story's films did an okay job at it, but the last one in 2015 was a hot mess, and no one ever really captured the spirit of the Fantastic Four on screen very well. Well, until now. Now, to be clear, this isn't normal Marvel fare, and the new retro-futuristic aspect of this film was really refreshing. But what was more interesting to me is how the characters were instantly likable. By the time you're 5 minutes into this movie, you feel like you already have a connection with the team. And honestly, most of the clips and trailers that we saw are contained within the first 15 minutes, so there are a lot of surprises. All four characters are super well done, and like I said, you care about them almost right out of the gate. Now, it did feel like Sue was at the center of the team, but unlike what many people try to claim with the so-called MCU, I hate that term, she was not shoved in there at all. She's pregnant, and that serves as the focal point for the whole film. Now, this isn't an action movie per se, but it does have a lot of action in it. But this is truly a story about the Fantastic Four. The story doesn't lean on those action sequences like we've seen so many comic book movies do in the past. And this allows for the establishment of each of the four characters in their own right. It becomes very clear as we move through the film that these are individuals, and unlike many other team-up and team movies, well, the conglomeration of the characters kind of gets mixed up quite a bit, and Marvel did an excellent job of separating them and bringing them to life in this movie. Now, as many of you know, this is a new Earth, Earth 828, and when you watch the film, you'll find out that's a pretty cool Easter egg. Now, the history and the people of this world feel absolutely realistic, and it's something that makes this movie feel more alive. They also do a wonderful job of getting us up to speed on this history and do the origin story without basically rehashing the origin story. If you saw the clip online that kind of established the new Fantastic Four, that's exactly what they do in this film, and although they've revealed the history of the characters, they don't make us sit through those events once again. Now, probably the thing that shines through this movie though, and more than any other thing, is Ralph Inson's Galactus. Galactus has always felt like a villain that might be impossible to do on the big screen, and the new Fantastic Four movie absolutely crushes that idea. Galactus is menacing and genuinely scary, not something I really expected. I was worried it would be goofy or kind of, well, silly, not really working in the aesthetic that they'd established. But Galactus, along with his herald, the Shia LaBeouf version of the Silver Surfer, both really do work in this film, and honestly, one of the best Marvel villain introductions we've had in a really long time. He felt like a comic book villain. Now, as for Shia LaBeouf, I know there was a lot of hullabaloo about it not being Norrin Radd, and honestly, Norrin Radd might have worked in this movie, except, without getting into spoilers, her character is tied very interestingly to Johnny Storm. And if you know Johnny Storm, you know he's all about the ladies, and they're able to use that aspect to kind of give the Johnny Storm character a little more depth than just being a player. Now, whether we see this version of the Silver Surfer again, I guess that is the big question. And if I'm making any bets when the Surfer does return after Secret Wars, it probably will be the Norrin Radd version. But if they do the character with the same aesthetic they did here, fans are definitely going to be pleased, and honestly, I wouldn't mind if Shia LaBeouf came back because the character was done so well in the movie. Now, we're not going to get into spoilers about Franklin, but if you know who Franklin Richards is in the comics, you know he is a mega powerful character, and that is well established in this film. The post-credit scene leaves us with quite a cliffhanger, and all of this definitely establishes a new vibe for the Marvel Universe. As for the future of Marvel, the MCU is obviously not going to sit on Earth 828, especially after that Thunderbolts post-credit scene. But what it does show to me is that Marvel's ready for some new beginnings. And since Kevin Feige the other day referred to Secret Wars as a beginning and not an end, I think this definitely gives us a peek into what Marvel holds in the future. This new Fantastic Four is here to stay, and they could really serve as the focal point for the future of the MCU. Additionally, Marvel nailed this so well, it has me even more excited for a potential X-Men return. Kevin Feige said the other day when the X-Men come back, they're going to be all new castings post-Secret Wars. And if they're able to pull it off in the same way they just pulled off Fantastic Four, well, X-Men fans are going to be beyond pleased and we could definitely be heading into a new era for Marvel Studios, bringing us back up to par with the original Infinity Saga. Now, Fantastic Four, I'm going to give 9 out of 10 stars. I totally enjoyed this movie. I'm going to go see it again, and honestly, I think it might be the best superhero movie of the year, and that's saying quite a bit with James Gunn's Superman sitting just a few weeks back. Once you see the movie, sound off in the comments below. I've tried to avoid spoilers to not ruin it for you, but until you know more, go see the movie for yourself, and then let me know what you thought of the film. Peace. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.